Hey guys, this next video I may have published before, but I'm republishing it. I've had some guys ask me questions. I wanted to kind of put this information out there. It's specific to your Garmin LVS34 and target separation in shallow water. So this is useful for targeting fish and your bait specifically in depths 10 feet or under. 5-7 feet when you're casting at targets on the bank or some shallow water structure where everything gets compressed and it's hard to make out both the structure of the fish or your bait, especially when you're throwing something small. So this setting is useful for me, and I hope you get something out of it too.
All right, folks, before I get into my settings of my LVS34 and my 8612 unit, I want to go over the topic of depth. Now, a lot of guys, including me, will put their depth at about 3 to 4 feet past the actual depth of the water they're in. And that's fine, that works okay. But what I like to do is I like to go about 10 feet past the depth. Now here in 15 feet, I'll probably go to about 25 feet. Now what that does is it condenses everything at the top, and you do lose a little bit of real estate on your target. But what that does is the unit is actually concentrates most of its power to that top part, and you get better target separation, clarity. You can see your bait better, and it's just a better image, I think. And I think that this actually offsets some of what you sacrifice with your real estate on your screen. So let me go ahead and show you what we got here. So here we're at 15 feet, and you can see some bass on the bottom there. I have it set at 18 feet, and I'm going to go ahead and set this to 25 feet, and I'll show you what it does here. So I got this thing going now, and you can see some fish there at the bottom, basically underneath the boat. Now I'm going to go ahead and move this depth over to 25 feet, and you can see what it does. I think it just gives a better target separation at what you're looking at the top there. You can see here that there's clearly 3 fish there, and those are bass on the bottom at about 35 feet out and about 10 feet of water. Okay, so I just think this gives a better image. Here are my options: gain 69%, depth 30 feet, forward 100 feet. Now we're going to go into the sonar setup. Noise rejection medium, color scheme. I like moss. Color gain 81%, color limit 43. Trails I have off. Color limit you could go 0 to no more than 50. Otherwise you start getting into black and white pictures. Noise rejection, I like to keep that either low or off. Ghost reject off. Okay, so those are my options. Now let me go ahead and show you what a bait looks like out there when you have your transducer at 10 feet over your depth. All right, in this video here, I'm going to be pitching a wacky rig to the bank here. Now, the other thing that's nice about setting your depth a little bit deeper, like 10 feet deeper than the actual depth, is when you're looking at the bank, you don't get that blown up image. I think it helps out with some of the noise level when you're casting there at the bank. You can see I'm about 45 to 50 feet, actually more 50, 55 feet away from the bank, and you don't have that big blow up of all the particles in the water, and you can see your bait a little bit better. So let's go ahead and get this rolling. You can see here I'm going to cast a wacky rig out there at about 45 feet, and there it hits the water. You can see it coming down right about 40 feet. I just bumped it a little bit, and there's fish on the bottom laying on the bottom. You can barely see them, but they're down there. See, one just came up. Now unfortunately I'm not going to catch anything here, but this is more to show you just what the image looks like. So that bass wasn't very interested in it. And there's the bait. There's my bait there at about 30 feet out, coming down. And there's a fish over there at about 19 feet interested. He's coming over. He's still on the bottom. Not really actively going after it because he's staying on the bottom. And now the bait fish is there, probably just right in front of him there at about 31 feet. Yeah, I popped it up a little bit. And there's another fish coming up at about 28 feet. And it's a Cinco, so it's slowly going down in the water column and right above those fish. Now there's some bait fish there on the right at about 39 feet. You can see my Cinco there at 30 feet, and it's just now laying on the bottom. And there's a bass there at 20 feet out, and a couple more underneath the boat. So by having your depth well past your water depth, I just think it gives better clarity, particularly in these mid to shallow water when you're fishing there. So there's that bait. You see a bass come up to it. He's really not interested in it. Not a very big bass, but nevertheless a bass. And you can see he's sitting there looking at it at about 29 feet. He's just above it looking at it. And there's another one. And I pop it. He's underneath it, not really interested in it, but this shows you the target separation I'm talking about when you have your depth set 10 feet past your actual water depth. So I hope this helps, guys. There you see a couple of bass swimming around it. They're just not interested in it, and I'm done with it here. I think I'm going to reel it up here in a few minutes. And so I just wanted to show this to you guys. I hope this helps you guys. Thanks.